Well, hello everyone and welcome to another Pride 48 training video. My name is Adam and I'm going to walk you through the details of this video today. And the purpose of today's video is to cover how do I stream live or record live, either one, when I have a Skype guest on. And I want to route the audio from everything on my computer. So if I'm playing a sound effect, or I'm playing theme music, or I'm playing bumpers, or I'm playing YouTube, or I'm playing anything, and I also have a Skype guest coming up on the same computer, I want to route my Skype guest, my audio from the YouTube video or the bumper, and my own microphone into a recorder or broadcasting software, but I don't want the Skype guest to hear themselves. So I don't want to route their audio back to themselves because they'll hear an echo. So really it's just wiring all this audio around the computer. And we've already had a video. There's another video if you're interested in, if you don't have a Skype guest, this is specific to really needing to do something for a Skype guest or someone on Google Hangouts or something where you need a really advanced, I need to be able to mix together certain things and then output them to various outputs inside my computer. So I have a Skype guest. I don't want them to hear themselves, but I want them to hear YouTube, things of that nature. We have another video that's just strictly related to, I want to bring together all the audio, Skype guest, system audio, microphone, everything, and I want to broadcast that live. And we've gone over that, and that's using a software called Audio Hijack. One thing that we did not discuss in that video is how do I allow the Skype guest or the Hangouts guest or GoToMeeting or whatever software that you're using, how do I allow them to hear not only my microphone and what I'm saying, but also any other audio that's playing on the computer? Because with the setup that we did with Audio Hijack, we only selected our microphone as the input to Skype. So your Skype guest is only going to hear you talking. They're not going to hear any other audio on your computer. Unless you have a hardware mixer and you have, things wired up and all of that. This tutorial is, I have a computer with everything on it and I have a microphone and that's it. I don't have any extra external mixer, anything like that. So what we're going to go over today is specifically how to route the audio so the Skype guest can hear everything that you're hearing, but not hear themselves. So for this on a Mac, there is an open source solution that is called Soundflower, and I'm not going to do a tutorial on that because that is a much more advanced topic, and I feel like I'm not sure that has been updated recently, so I'm not even certain that it works on the most recent versions of Mac. It may, and if you want to do that research, you can look for Soundflower, but you have to be a more technical person to go and actually download and install, and there are some various things that you have to do to get that to work. It is a lot more technical to get that to work. I'm usually all for open source and for community-driven projects. In fact, I'm recording on something called OBS, Open Broadcast Studio, I believe is what OBS stands for. And that is a recording/broadcasting video software. And it works great, and it is an open source project. But I'm not going to go into details on Soundflower. We've already gone over Audio Hijack, and the same company that produces Audio Hijack produces another application that works right along with Audio Hijack that's going to allow you to do what you need to do. So let's talk about that. All right. So first of all, the company that produces the software that we're talking about is Rogue Amoeba. And if you go to their website, you'll see Audio Hijack, which is in the video we covered before. And then you'll see something called Loopback, which is cable-free audio routing. So in order to do everything all in one computer with a guest coming in and all the complicated audio routing that you need to do to both stream live and record at the same time, you also need to introduce Loopback into the picture. Now, all of these apps, first of all, these apps are excellent. These are very good apps. They all work very well. Everyone who uses them has a great experience with them, but they do cost money. So I just want to let you know up front, these do cost. We're not in any way sponsored by this company, but as far as I know, these are pretty much the best and only options for the type of audio work that we need to do for streaming and recording a podcast for a Mac. So this is why we're, recommending the software, and I think it's worth it. But for anyone who can't afford it or, anything like that, please contact us and let us know. For live streaming weekends, we can certainly work with you to maybe have someone else stream for you. There are other things we can do if you just cannot afford or can't get this set up on your own computer, but this is the best solution for streaming and recording from a Mac, so that's why we're recommending it. And if you can afford it and you stream and record often or on occasion, I do suggest you go ahead and spend the money and purchase the software. Now, I'll say if you go to the store here, they do have packages that include multiple things together. They have an ultimate podcast bundle here that saves you a little money if you want multiple things. Farrago, or however you pronounce that, is a soundboard, so you can put all your bumpers, your audio clips in there and play them. I'm not sure yet what Fission is, but maybe we'll have a tutorial on that at some point. It's an audio editor. So they have a lot of different audio applications that you can use. There are also other bundles. So if you go, let's say we go to buy Loopback, they have a bundle for Loopback and Audio Hijack together, and you save close to $30 when you buy them together, and that's $130. If you buy Loopback by itself, it's $100. And if you buy Audio Hijack by itself, let me go back over here. Audio Hijack is $60. So you save around $30. If you know you're going to have a Skype guest and you need to use Audio Hijack, it makes sense to buy the bundle and save $30. So there you go. So that's the little caveat at the beginning here. I know these cost money. For those of you who can't afford it, I completely understand. And I apologize, we don't really have a good free solution. But if you really can't get this set up, but you want to stream with us, please let us know and we'll work with you and see what we can. Worst case scenario, someone else can connect to you via Skype or Hangouts or something like that and then stream for you is one option that we've provided in the past. All right, so that being said, if you are so inclined, you will need to purchase Loopback, and you will also need Audio Hijack for the streaming portion, and then install those. And I'm not going to go through the installation, but the installation is just the same as any other installation on a Mac, so there's nothing really different there. All right, so now that you've got that set up, I'm just going to pull up that window, and we're going to get started. Just going to do that. All right, so I have quite a few windows up because I'm, going to do a demonstration here. So right now I've just got the Audio Hijack window up that we had up from our last tutorial on Audio Hijack. Now I'm going to pull up the Loopback interface, and I'm going to go ahead and, now what you're listening to on this recording, I'm already routing through Loopback, and I went ahead and set that up just to test it out, but we're going to start with a new virtual device. So what you're doing with this application is you're setting up something called a virtual device. And a virtual device takes multiple inputs from inside your computer or outside your computer and mixes them down into one output. So I'm going to go ahead and click the plus button next to New Virtual Device. And I'm going to, the default name is Loopback Audio. I'm going to click the little pencil next to that, and I'm going to name that Master mix. And I want this to be everything. I want this to be, let's say I'm going to be using the browser or Chrome browser for bumpers and YouTube clips and things of that nature. I'm going to use Skype, and I'm going to use my microphone that's coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to create a mix that includes all of that in it. So I'm under sources, I'm going to click the plus. I'm going to add Skype. And I'm going to add Google Chrome because that's my browser that I use for YouTube. And I know my microphone is this USB audio codec under audio devices, so I'm going to click that. Now the pass-through that was the default that they set up, I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it highlights it, and then I'm going to click the delete button to get rid of that. Now I'll mention a few things about this. Each of these sources here feed into one output, one virtual output. You have control over each one of these sources separately. So if you expand options, you can mute when capturing. What that means is normally Chrome might come out of the speakers on your laptop or might go into your headphones or something like that. You can check mute when capturing if you don't want it to come out of your default device when you're capturing. If you want it to come out, you can uncheck that box. Also, you can control the volume here for that device or for that source. So if I want to turn the volume down just for that, I can turn the volume up and down, no problem. If I want to mute it, I can click the little speaker and that mutes it. You can see that my mic is already showing up in this output. You can see down there. If I want to mute my microphone, I can click on options for microphone and then I can click the little speaker. And now you'll see when I talk, you do not see the output moving. So you don't see channels 1 and 2. You don't see any. So nothing is going to that output there. If I unmute it, you'll see now I'm going back to channels 1 and 2. So you have fine-grained control over each one of your sources. If your microphone is a little too loud, or if Chrome is a little too loud, or YouTube, or if Skype is a little too loud, you can do those separately. Also, if you need to do anything, this automatically routes left and right channels from each source to left and right channels for the output. If you need to change that, you can actually click on the line, just like it's a cable, and you can delete it by going up to Edit and Delete. So I'll do that now. So you can delete it. So now only the right channel from Skype is going to the right output. I can add that back by clicking on the little circle and then dragging up to where I want that to go. So those look exactly like if you were doing a hardware cable solution. All right, so that's set up for a master mix. Now, let's say that's what I wanted to record. So we'll go ahead and test that. So I'm going to go to Audacity. All right, so I have Audacity open here, and I'm going to go ahead and select the microphone. And let's look back at Loopback here. And remember, I've got Master Mix and I've got OBS Master. These are the same thing, but I just set them up so that you could hear everything going on the computer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click record. And you should see that my microphone is getting picked up because I have USB audio codec selected, which is my microphone. But if I go in and I play something, let's say on YouTube, so I'll pull up Chrome here.
We'll start talking and then you can come up to the microphone.
Yes.
Actually, if anybody who knows what that word means, comes up to the...
Now, you heard that, and that's why I stopped talking. But what you'll notice is it did not get recorded in Audacity. So if I click stop here in Audacity and I scroll back, you'll see that while YouTube was playing and I was not talking, there was silence here. So that's because I just have USB audio codec selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close that track. I'm going to go into the microphone settings and I'm going to select. Now you'll notice that I now have more inputs available. I have one called Master Mix and one called OBS Master, which correspond to what I set up in Loopback. So I'm going to select Master Mix, and then I'm going to hit record again. And now I'm going to play the YouTube clip.
The microphone. Oh, looks like Josie might know what that is.
Lemongrass.
Yes. Can you just, attempt what?
All right, and you'll notice that it did record the audio from the YouTube clip. So that's great. That's what I wanted. Now I'm going to show you also. How I can control that from Loopback. So let me go in and play the YouTube clip again.
What consistent means? Or supposed to be.
Consistent.
And
Consistent.
No?
No.
No. Okay.
Wow, that was easy.
now I have
Just
YouTube
take
muted.
the bell.
So
Word.
now you'll see I was able
Adam's
from
thrust
Loopback
was
to mute
consistent with the melon.
the Chrome tab
No.
or Chrome
No.
so that's no longer being recorded.
No, that is an incorrect word of the bell. Okay, we'll let that
I can
slide.
also
It is
keep
hard.
recording it.
It might be hard.
It's very
Who
easy.
knows?
But turn down the volume
tell me
really
about,
low.
Our experience, the first
So I
night
can control
in
all
in
of
our
that.
bedroom, and after you arrived. Yeah, not that.
All right, and the same is true for Skype. So I'm gonna stop this recording now. All right, so I'm gonna stop that recording and let's go back to Loopback. So the same thing is true for Skype. I could go in, I could go to options, I could lower the volume, I could mute it, etc. I could do all of that stuff and control it directly from Loopback. There would be no need for me to go into the actual applications and fiddle with the volume. You can, but you can also do it directly from Loopback. So now let's say what I want to do is I want to send the audio from YouTube and from my microphone back to Skype, but I don't want Skype to hear itself. So I don't want any Skype guest to hear themselves coming back. So I'm going to need to set up a new virtual device for that. And again, I'm going to go to this device and I'm going to add a source. I'm going to add Chrome because I want them to hear Chrome. And I'm going to add my microphone. So there you go. So now I've added Chrome and my microphone, but I did not add Skype. So I'm going to call this Skype return. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Skype. And for microphone, its default device is selected right now, but I'm going to choose. Now, one thing you'll notice is when you first create a new virtual device in Loopback, sometimes your applications will not recognize the label that you've set. And I don't know if that's a defect or there may be something in the manual for that. If you close Loopback and you reopen it, or you close Skype and reopen it, you'll see that it does start to recognize the label. I know because there's OBS Master, Master Mix, and then one called Loopback Audio. I know this one called Loopback Audio is the Skype return that I just created. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. But if you close both of the applications and reopen them, it will recognize the label, and then you'll see the actual label here in your menu. The same is true for Audacity. I had to actually close Audacity and reopen it after I created these virtual devices before it filled the drop-down list. So just keep that in mind. You may have to close the application and reopen them before they'll actually recognize the new virtual device that you created. All right, so this Skype return only has Chrome and my microphone. It does not have Skype. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to make sure that's selected, which I did. And now I'm just going to test that out. You can see that it is hearing my microphone. And just to make sure that it is coming from here, I'm going to actually go in and I'm going to mute my microphone in Loopback. And you'll see that now Skype is not hearing anything because you see this equalizer here is not moving. If I unmute myself, you'll see that now I'm going back to Skype. Now, the second thing is I'm going to go ahead and play this YouTube video.
In the dream? No, like
Yes, so funny. So I was so tired because different bed, different sound, I mean, different texture of the pillow.
She's very particular. She's Asian.
So too soft, so I couldn't really sleep.
And you see that that was also going to Skype. So there you go. So now I can output just Chrome and my microphone to Skype, and the guests on Skype will not hear themselves, but they will hear anything that I play through the Chrome browser, and they'll hear anything that comes through my mic. Now, you can create as many sources as you want for this Skype return. So if you have other software that you use to play music, you can keep adding as many as you want just by clicking the add button. Let's say you were using QuickTime Player or iTunes or Safari or anything else, you can actually add those here, and anyone on Skype now will hear anything that you add here as a source. All right, so the last thing I want to cover really quick is, all right, so how do I use this with Audio Hijack? So first of all, I'll say you don't have to use these together necessarily, but you can. So I'll give you a couple of options, but let's go in and let's just get rid of these sources. So I'm going to delete the sources from Audio Hijack, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about Audio Hijack. So please see the Audio Hijack tutorial if you want to learn more about that. But I just want to show you using this with Loopback. So what I'm going to do is, you noticed I had created a master mix and I created a Skype return inside of Loopback. Well, the master mix has everything that I want to broadcast and record right there. So what I can do is I can actually come in and I can add an input device, drag that over, and then I can edit that by clicking on it and select any of the Loopback virtual devices that I've created. So I want to choose Master Mix. And now, just to test that out, I'll hit record. And you'll see now it's getting my microphone. But also, if I play something in Skype, and I'm actually, just so this is not bugging you guys, I'm going to mute Skype and Google Chrome for the recording so that I can talk and not have to wonder whether it's louder than me. All right, so now I'm going to go in Master Mix, and remember I chose Master Mix here, so when I talk, you see that I'm talking, and that's going to the broadcast. That's also going to the recorder, and it's going left and right channel, because if you look in Loopback, you can see that Master Mix has both left and right going to the output, so that's great. You don't have to worry about that. If I play the test audio on Skype, you'll see that that is also going to the broadcast and the recorder. And I'll turn that off. And then if I play the YouTube video, it's very quiet, but you can see that that's also going to the recorder and the broadcast. But what I can do is in Loopback, I can actually go in to Master Mix, and I had that muted, so it wasn't. So I can turn it up, and you can actually see now that it's also going. So when I don't talk, you can see that YouTube audio is still flowing through. So that's all you have to do. You can create all of your, and I'm just going to go ahead and stop that. You can create all of your mixes in Loopback and then pull the mix into Audio Hijack. All right, so lastly, I'll just cover this one more time. So we just went over how to add your master mix from Loopback into Audio Hijack so that you can use them together. So the way you would, just to go over one last time, how you would set this up to broadcast and or record and have a Skype guest at the same time. First of all, you need to create a master mix that includes all of your audio software and Skype or Hangouts or whatever you're using to bring in your guest in Loopback. You need to create a second one. I'm calling that Skype Return just so I don't get confused. And that one needs to have everything that you have minus Skype or Hangouts or whatever your guest is coming over. In Audio Hijack, you can go in, and this can be done many, multiple different ways. This is just one of the ways you can do it. But in Audio Hijack, you'll go in, add an input device. You'll select your master mix, and that will record and broadcast everything that you have in master mix. So that's all you have to do is just add that master mix. For your Skype guest, you'll go to Skype. For your microphone, you'll select the one that does not include Skype. So I've called that Skype Return. And again, because I haven't closed Skype and reopened it, it doesn't recognize that label. So it's called Loopback Audio for me. If you close Skype and reopen it, it will recognize the label and you'll see Skype Return. So you make sure that you select that, and that's it. So you can just leave speakers at default device because you're actually capturing that in this master mix. So you don't even have to worry about it. You're capturing what's coming out of there. And then when you get set up to go, your Skype guest is going to hear anything that's coming from this Loopback Audio, which is actually my Skype Return, which in my case is anything playing from Google Chrome or my microphone. And then anyone that's listening to the broadcast will actually hear everything on Master Mix that in my case has Google Chrome, Skype, and my microphone. All right, so that's the end of today's tutorial. This should give you everything you need to broadcast and record with a Skype or Hangouts guest all on the same computer using Audio Hijack and Loopback. If you have any questions, you can go over to pride48.com, go to the contact section, and submit contact asking for technical assistance, and we'll be happy to get back to you and help you out. Thanks for listening.